Welcome to STS28, in which we get the band back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hooray!
It's an Irishman. Cal.
Yay! It's an Irishman. Welcome back.
Oh, you
Sound happy
more
about
happier.
it, Jesus. I guess the plan to get him off didn't work then, eh?
So your chair didn't explode when you sat down there or anything then, Cal?
Oh, it fell apart. I had to get a new one.
Ah. So you took the
Yeah.
screws outside. That's not a very smart plan.
I see the ninjas have failed. That is
So
all.
ninjas don't work in Ireland. There's too many pubs around.
You should use midgets.
They go in for just one.
Yeah, maybe I hired the wrong henchman for this task. Oh well. Maybe next time.
Search www.cheapmercsforyou.com.
That's a website I'm going to be avoiding. That's where I got my last ones.
Oh,
Bad reviews, bad reviews.
the ninjas on that site. I'm telling you, the ninjas on that site. Read the reviews.
What, ninjas all ended up in a bar and got
Obviously,
wasted?
they
8 out of
don't-
10.
Yeah, obviously they.
Out of 10.
Worst
Pretty
ninjas
well
I ever
gone.
used. 8 out of 10.
Oh god.
So
That leads us nicely into a point, actually.
it does. But should we actually like do some other stuff before we get ranty? Because we're gonna get ranty.
No, screw that.
You want to rant first?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
All right,
we
let's
need-
mix this one up then. So yeah, so I mentioned on Twitter a few days ago now something regarding review scores because of Hitman was what did it. Hitman Absolution, and our video for it is coming out, I think, next few days. I'm not sure when.
Sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm not
Surely.
going to put a date on that one, but sometime soon, air quotes. And I was reading the controversy that was going on about the game and the mixed review scores, shall we say. Let's use the word mixed.
They were
It's a
quite
good word to use, mixed.
Varied.
diverse.
Yes, diverse is another fantastic word. People were giving it, people were saying, oh, it was a really good game, and oh, it was a really bad game, and there were things they loved and things they hated, and that to me is the sign of a good game. A game that causes that kind of
Controversy.
controversy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good game. Because you get talking about it, and it's fantastic. And so one of the things that was mentioned was the whole, it was getting, mixed reviews, and it was getting some negative reviews, and they were like, it got like 7.5 from GameSpot, and this is a bad review. 7.5 out of 10 is a bad review. So I mentioned
know,
this
right?
on Twitter. And I was like, 7.5 is not a negative score for a review. That's not.
A negative score surely would be minus something. That's what negative means, right? That word
no.
doesn't mean what you think it means.
-3. Worst game ever.
You know what I mean.
But
Sandra,
being sensible, 5 is a middle of the road game. That's why we
Yes.
have 0 to 10, right? Goes all the
Yes.
way from 0 to 10.
Can you count that far?
I've got enough digits, I can do it in front of me, even if I couldn't.
Now, don't stretch yourself.
I could look at my fingers
I
and
give
manage
this
to do
game
this,
4
alright?
fingers and a thumb out of 10.
When was the last time we saw a 3 out of 10, a game marked 3 out of 10? I never actually thought of this last time when we had a bitch about this over Ventrilo, but when was the last time you actually saw a game that had 3 out of 10 in something that's been running for time, like PC Gamer? Has been running for about as long as I've been on this earth.
I'm instantly gonna, I think, kibosh your plan of don't PC game use a percentage system.
Alright then, 30%, because essentially that's all a 0 to 10 is, right?
It's
Yeah.
a more generalized.
It's
0 to 100.
10%, 20%, 30%, etc., etc. So when was the last game that got 30%?
Honestly, I don't know.
It will have happened
haven't
because
an
it wasn't
idea.
always like this. Because they used to review games honestly. In my mind, what's happened is far too many games reviewers and games magazines don't dare rate a game where it deserves to be because there's been too much investment by said companies or backhanders or call it what you want. However it is, whether it's in goods, services rendered, or quite simply cash in a brown envelope. These reviews have all been bought.
4 out of
Look at
10.
him go. He's getting
4
animated.
out of 10 for Black Ops on the Vita. 4 out of 10 for Warfighter, both from IGN. 4 out of 10 for Warfare. Yeah, so it's like 4s. I've got 4s, and they're recent. But my issue isn't the whole like. I don't want to get into the subject of whether or not reviews are paid for. That's.
But that's essentially the root of the problem.
No. This isn't that. That's not the issue necessarily. The issue is that people don't use the numbering system correctly. Did you see the image that someone linked me that I had in my comments?
Yes, I did. The bar graph, basically.
I'll put it in. I'll give it to you, and I'll make sure that you put it in the YouTube comments so people can click it.
Yeah.
And it essentially was that like 0 up to like 7 was just essentially an empty space. And then 7 to I think 7.5 was bad game. 7.5 to 8 was average game. And then 8 to 10 was split into like 15 different categories.
Yeah.
Of like slightly better game, better than average, good game, great game. Like, and then it was like 9.9 is game of the year.
Potential game of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. No game should ever reach a 10.
Nope.
No game is perfect. Not a single one.
Well, the issue with any review score system comes as follows, which is any game, right? So if you have a 0 to 10 score system, right?
Yeah.
You create a 0 to 10 score system, and you go, okay, I'm going to do an unbiased 0 to 10 score system. It's going to be biased straight away because human opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Straight away.
That's the whole point of a review in some ways. Is you find
okay, you've
likes
got your 0 to 10
like
scale. And you're now gonna go, okay, well, it's gonna be biased because it's being done with human interaction. But okay, I'll make sure that this 0 to 10 scale uses all 10 digits, and I will review each game fairly. Okay, first point then would be that you'd have to review the game against games of that sort,
of a similar genre.
Yeah, and then work out how you would categorize them without taking into account games that have no influence on it. And so then you're ending up complicating the system. But let's say you managed to do that. Let's say that you managed to work out a way that you can review games on this 0 to 10 scale like NBA Jam 2005 and...
What a game.
DJ Hero. Let's say that you work out a way of reviewing both of these games on the 0 to 10 scale, taking into account different factors for each game, because clearly you aren't going to worry about the graphics too much in DJ Hero, and you're not going to worry too much about the music in NBA Jam 2005.
I don't know.
Although to be fair, I believe the new NBA game does have some rapper doing the music or something. I can't remember. I think it was Jay-Z. I'm not sure. My mind is drawing a blank on that one, but I'm sure someone will yell at me.
Way to sound like an old man.
I know, right? I think it was Jay-Z. I don't know. Yeah, one of these newfangled rap guys who's all like fresh and does hand signs and scratches records. Yeah,
he's pine fresh.
But out and checks himself before he wrecks himself. Yeah.
Oh, dear
So you've got this 0 to 10 scale. You've got these two games that you're able to review fairly on the scale. Okay, so let's say that NBA Jam is the best game of any basketball game so far. So you give it a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a revolutionary game changer. You give it a 9.
Right, I know where you're going with this. It's effectively game score inflation.
Yeah, so now, the next game that comes out, you would then have to essentially...
The next one that's better than another NBA game comes out. It's better than the last one, which means it's the best game. So it has to get a higher score than the last one, because it's better than that one.
Exactly.
No, it doesn't. It can have the same score.
Exactly. But or
because
you
it's
could give
newer,
it a
you've
lower
got to take
score.
into account time. That's what needs to be brought in. You need a date. You need a date of release.
You need a constant, essentially a constant decay,
or a constant
sort
decay
of style,
score,
so that you don't end up with a system of, well, the last one was a 9, so the next one has to be 9.1 because it was better, or it has to be like a 7 because it was like. If it's worse, that's fine because you've got a whole scale of numbers to work with. If it's better, you're essentially pigeonholing yourself. I ended up talking to people on Twitter about this for quite a while, and the ending discussion was that we're essentially going to end up in a problem where we end up adding more decimal places to a review score just so we can fit them all in.
Just so you can
I give this game an 8.73.
Yeah. Or we should go with the better system, which is we should just two-face everything. We
Yeah,
should
just flip
turn it into a
coin.
binary system, do the review
Buy-
the game how you want,
Do
and
not
then just
buy this
flip
game
a
or
coin.
Game of the Year.
Yeah, just do your review. Say whatever you want about the game. You can absolutely trash the game. You can absolutely trash it. You can basically say that it was a poor man's roller coaster tycoon. And if you're then done with your review and you flip the coin and it comes up heads, people should still buy the game.
Comes up heads, Game of the Year.
Yep.
However, it still has some redeeming qualities. Game of the Year. Buy now.
It's a poor man's roller coaster tycoon, but it has potential to be game of the year. You should buy it.
Good game.
But yeah, so this is one thing.
This
like,
is why
I-
scores are basically giving them a number score is realistically, unless you're going to do it properly, it's a stupid idea.
But then you get into the other argument that's been had many a time, which is why Metacritic is god awful.
Why
Because-
Metacritic is a fucking abomination that should be
Because
torched
you-
from this earth with nuclear fire.
Because you're taking scores on a 5-star system, a threes.
You're taking
and
number
also
systems
of
that don't
10s
mean
and
anything and
percentages.
smushing them together in the hopes of
Yeah.
making something of some meaning. How can you start with sludge and expect to make anything of any worth?
It's alive.
Yes, exactly. But so this is another thing. We will never, ever score anything unless we are doing it to be satirical.
In which case, the score will pretty much always be 8
8 out of 10.
Yes, and any game we do ever score will always be 8 out of 10.
Yep.
Because that, in fact, I want a T-shirt. I want a T-shirt made, and I'm gonna get one of these T-shirts made, so that when we launch the news site, hello, we're
Yeah, go on, say it out loud,
spoiler.
so now I have to do some work. Thanks for that.
Oh, Cromer.
Oh,
when
no.
we launch the new site, and we're gonna have some shirts on there anyway. I can now add another shirt onto that list. We can have a new shirt on that list that will simply say on it, on the front, best shirt ever, 8 out of 10. And on the back can say worst shirt ever, 8 out of 10.
Oh wow.
And you know, you have to have a citation in there for it to be real. So underneath the 8 out of 10 is just a little elm3.com.
And yeah, it will be like, this shirt blew my mind, and then just like tagged with caloric, and then on the back it can go, this shirt blew balls. It can just be fluke. There you go. So that rant is now over. We will never use goddamn score systems ever. The furthest we're in the world, the closest we'll ever get to that is 8 out of 10s, and the norm for what
Before we
do.
say end of rant, I just want to say how realistically, in my mind, the only way reviews of games are of any use is what you should be doing is find somebody that likes the same kind of things as you, that dislikes the same kind of things as you, that has the same kind of background as you, and you read their reviews of stuff. If they like
Yeah.
a game, you're going to like it. If they don't like a game, you're not going to like it. That's the only way to make reviews work. Giving them number systems for the masses to go, yeah, I should buy this, is never
Or
going to
go
work.
and-
Having said that, it's working exactly as intended. The entire
thing
system is working as intended. It's making the knuckle draggers go out and pay for games every week because they're told it's potential game of the year.
Do you know how I used to?
I can't help but feel this is going
Check
in a
out
specific
games.
direction.
Do you know how I used to check out games before? Before I became, what we are now.
Yeah.
Pick it up and read the back of the box.
No, I would go to Metacritic, and I would do as follows. I would read a positive review, I'd read average review, and I'd read a negative review, and I'd see how they lined up,
Yeah.
and I would try and gauge off that, because while the scores don't mean anything, in my opinion, on Metacritic,
It's a link to a bunch of people who've already played the game and are giving reviews.
it's a link
Yeah.
to it's essentially like Wikipedia for university students. It's a good place to find those reviews, and also it does say whether or not they are positive, mediocre, or negative. So I'd read one of each, and that was
Okay.
how I did it. I used to read one of each, and I'd be like, okay, they're complaining about something, but the other guys are praising it. So
Yeah. So you can see if
I mean, see, I'm not
picking about the same
I'm not a
thing.
huge fan of number systems. I mean, I could sit down, play a game that's been lauded as an 8 out of 10, and a game that's been lauded as a 7 out of 10, and I'll be like, okay, this game was good. It's like my mental system goes, it's either a bad game, an okay game, a good game, or a great game.
Yeah, so good game, bad game, alright game.
We should have renamed this episode to STS28, in which we take score.
in which we 8 out of 10.
It's probably
The amount of games that I've played that have been 50 to 60% on Metacritic and I've loved is just phenomenal.
That's it. A lot of my favourite games, and these counts in film as well, because I've been looking for films to have a look at and watch, because I've got a bit of time on my hands where I'm sat between doing things, or I've been sat doing something fairly dull and repetitive, so I just watch something while I'm looking for films that I've missed, and trying to look on something like IMDb or troll through Wikipedia for just like films of a certain genre. So show me all the films that have been released in the last decade in the sci-fi genre.
I use user-created lists.
And they're all
user-created lists from IMDb of top 200 sci-fi films that some random guy has created. And I'll just look through it and I'll be like, I've not seen that film.
Yeah, pretty much. I've not seen that film. What's it about?
I'll rent it.
Have a look.
I'll go down to
the number of
Blockbuster and
films
I'll rent it, or
that I've
Netflix.
actually watched from just seeing them on that list, that they got like really bad number scores, like 4s and 6s. This is a really good film.
Yeah.
To go on with the user created list, I mean, there are plenty of websites out there that allow you to create lists as well. I mean, GOG probably has one of the better ones, where you can just go in, find some random person who's got a few games that you like in a list, and see what else is in the list.
Yeah.
It's essentially like Spotify as well for music, like listening to other people's playlists.
Yeah, if you like this,
Apart from the fact
you
that I
might
just
like
have one
this,
song
this,
like
this,
20
and this.
million times. But anyway, now that all that's over, let's talk some games.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Okay.
So Kel,
Yeah.
welcome back, Kel.
While you've been away,
Yes.
what have you done?
Yeah.
Oh dear God, I've clocked up a silly amount of miles or
Okay,
kilometers
I'll
or
rephrase.
whatever.
What games have you played?
Forza Horizon, just tons of it. I even actually managed to get out a few hours of streaming of it because I've sunk that much time into it.
How is it?
It depends on how you approach it. If you approach it from the pure mindset of Forza Motorsport, where it's extremely detailed, you can tweak every little bit about your car, you're going to be a little disappointed.
Reminds me of a
Because the
certain
physics
topic.
are toned back a bit, the open world nature of it, just you've got lower quality road surfaces, so things don't perform quite as you might expect. But as far as a racing game in an open world environment, it's fantastic. But when I went into it, I was hoping for a multiplayer experience like you had in Test Drive Unlimited, where you just go in and there are other people around. You'd come across people when you're out driving, but regrettably, that doesn't happen. You've got your single player where you've got AI cars around the place and you can drive to races and things, and it is really good. The AI is as good as it's always been in Forza games. Or you've got multiplayer where you've preset races, or you've a free roam where up to 8 people can just go drive the roads and there's no traffic.
Right.
So it's not quite what I was expecting, but I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. Everything feels right, especially the fact that you can go on these dirt roads, and there's an expansion coming out with like more dirt racing, which is great because the Forza physics engine actually works really well on dirt or on low quality surfaces, loose surfaces. I mean, there's a good variety of everything, good variety of road types. If you want to just go drive and look at scenery, you can lose 2-3 hours just
driving
going
around.
for a cruise.
That's cool.
Is it-
So I did always
it
like that
focuses,
about some of the earlier Need for Speed games.
Yeah, I think
That's
this
why I
one, it's
enjoyed
definitely kind of looking at, let's do a game about car culture as opposed to pure track racing.
Yeah.
So, and it really works in that respect. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
It's a shame that in the drive around mode there's no traffic when you're on the online mode. But again,
can understand
there's a lot
why.
of data to shift when you're trying to mark the positions of cars like that and traffic, and
Yeah.
you're moving fast, so ping time becomes a factor.
Even during races, things can get a bit sketchy. If someone's got high latency, then they will be glitching around the place. But
It's always
There's
been a problem
intelligent,
in racing games. Always.
yeah,
Same
luckily
as FPS.
there's fairly intelligent ghosting. So if someone starts doing that, they lose all collision, which is brilliant.
Okay.
How many cars? This is the big question that I have.
I
How many
can't.
cars?
I
What he's
can't
been
pluck a number
fretting
out,
about.
out of the air, but there are certain cars that are missing that I was really hoping I'd get to drive, like the new Toyota GT86. That's not in there yet. I have faith it'll come in future DLC. There's no aerial atom, but there's a lot, but you do miss some. That's probably the best way I can.
In comparison to most driving games, or a lot even compared to, say, 4.
There's nowhere near as many as there are in 4, and you can't really say most driving games either, because the main competitor is Gran Turismo, and that's got a ridiculous amount as well.
Gran Turismo, yes, it does have a ridiculous amount, but things like the Need for Speed games and Burnout and...
Oh, it's got more than those easily.
Yeah.
You've still got a very nice variety, and most of like the iconic cars.
Would you say a few hundred then? Would you say between 100 and 200, 2, 3?
I'd say
like,
100, 150,
okay.
probably.
So a decent amount. I mean, even though there were, you know, Forza 4 had what, like 800?
It had a huge amount.
And that was before DLC. There was about 800.
Yeah.
But you would never use them all.
No, and that's
That
the
was
thing.
kind
It
of the
seems
point where
with
there was something for everybody, no matter what your
Yeah.
taste in vehicle. They had
With
such
Horizon,
a
they've,
wide variety of content in vehicles that there was always something
Now,
for everybody. Even if your
they
ideal
pare
car
it down
wasn't there,
a
there was
lot.
something that were close enough.
My next question is, one of the big issues that I had with Forza 4, and not so much with the old Gran Turismos, was that with Forza 4, I found one car, and I stuck with that car. And I just shifted the performance of that car up and down as needed so that I could fit it into any race essentially,
By
and just use
modifying
that
them, just-
one
Yeah.
car. You can't do that so much in Gran Turismo, but in Horizon, can you do that? Or is it a case of, no, you will want multiple cars?
You'll want a few cars, depending on, again, surface type makes a huge difference. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
going to take a rear-wheel drive car out onto a dirt race. You're going to want something
I
four-wheel
would.
drive. Okay, you would,
You'd
but
do
you're silly.
very, very badly. I'd want a four-wheel drive car for all occasions and modify it to suit. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
could
but-
you take a four-wheel drive and mod it for on-road and off-road performance? Could you do that?
You can. I mean, my car of choice is Nissan Skyline, because I love the way it handles.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of races where there are restrictions on what you can and can't bring, so you're forced into other cars that way. It's similar to 4, where it's like you'll have your classic American muscle car, you'll have your European car race, you'll have your Asian car race.
right.
But you can still pick one car and stick to it. There's not a huge amount to get you out of the car, but if you go looking for other cars, especially when you start unlocking some of the city hypercars and turn off traction control, you can have a lot of fun.
Fair enough. So, is that all you've been playing, or?
I've been playing a little bit of World of Warcraft, a little bit of League of Legends, and I've been getting back into Diablo 3, but there's not a huge amount to say on those fronts, other than I managed to do Terrace of Endless Springs, which just released in Raid Finder today. It was okay.
I've yet to do it. I sadly haven't been investing enough time in WoW. I say this sadly, not because I'm a huge WoW fan, but because I'm a raid leader, which means that, I should be investing time in it because 9 other people. But yeah, I was looking forward. Like, I'm not sure how I stand yet in regards to my feelings on the new raids.
Mogshan Vaults was okay. The second one, the Heart of Fear, I think it was.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that, especially because you go in, the first thing you see are 2 guys just kind of on pikes, still wiggling.
Nice.
It's got a nice aesthetic and some good fights, and
The aesthetics are okay. The boss fights, though, I don't know. Like, I like.
There's only so
My-
much you can do. I said this last time, and
No,
I
no,
said
no,
there's
my
only so much
issue-
you can do mechanically though.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The mechanics of the fights are good. I just don't like the settings too much. Like, the aesthetics are good, yes, but I don't like the reasons that we're there, or the actual areas that they're using. This is a problem that I've noticed more and more with this expansion. I love the story. I love how much effort they're putting into story and raids and everything this time around in WoW. But I would love it if they had have done something like this with a setting like Wrath or Kata. Just because I personally like those settings more. I love the whole Lich King setting, I love Northrend, and I love the whole cultists and Deathwing
Yeah.
aspect. the whole we have gone to a new land, we are essentially now fighting shark. I don't know. I'm hoping it's just the first step down a very good road.
Well, looking at what's coming in the next patch that's going to push the story further, it's going to stay interesting, which is what I was really
that's one
worried
of the
about.
big things. But I hope the next step after Pandaria. I know the expansions only just come out, so I'm going to get people like, what the fuck, you're talking about the next expansion already. But I really hope the next step
I thought
after
that was kind of
Pandaria
the whole point of doing
blows
this.
me away.
I'm currently thoroughly enjoying Pandaria. I mean, I love everything about it, so
I don't know.
it'll keep me happy until
It's good.
I burn
but
out again.
It's good, but it's not great, in my opinion.
That's fair enough. 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was
No,
thinking
it
as well,
is-
chuckling to
it is-
myself.
It is the 8th year. It is the 8th year.
It is.
They've just celebrated their 8th anniversary by sending everyone the same mail that they sent them for the 7th anniversary.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Anyway, Serge, I'm gonna go to you
Oh,
because
well, sorry,
fuck
I
you, Fleet.
kind of fell asleep for a moment.
Serge, games. What have you been playing?
Games? In terms of games,
a lot.
I have been playing a lot of Fallen Enchantress. I've finally managed to get my head around all of the game, and I'm really enjoying it. It's basically everything I wanted Civ to be. Pretty much.
Fair enough.
It's like, I played Civ, and I thought, you know what this needs? Magic, dragons, you know, things that make it... I know that Civ is a different kind of game. Before you go on another half-hour rant, Xander.
Well, no, just you know what this needs? More generic fantasy elements. Oh.
Because mechs are so cool.
No, it's about the whole civilization. Why does it need to have magic in it?
Because it adds another element.
Because dragons are badass. For the same reason that lasers are badass.
Pretty much.
You got a point.
Yeah. I've been really enjoying Fallen Enchantress. I've been playing it for hours, daily. I also managed to finish Star Fox on the GameCube. Satisfying ending, even though it broke.
Yeah, that was.
I lost.
I've got to admit, I giggled.
I lost 6 hours of progress on Star Fox after a little bit of dirt on the disc, which.
Because
What can you say?
Because man didn't save the game at all and just sat and played.
Yeah, there was no autosaves, and it punished me for it. I'm never any good at manually saving. I always get too far into it and forget.
Oh, I did that so many times with Deus
Yeah.
Ex.
And Skyrim.
Because they do with, very careful game and stuff like that, and I get so far through and then die and be like, when did I last? And the autosave's just, oh no!
I've also been getting back into Blacklight Retribution as well.
No, I've been trying. Well, I've been getting a lot of connection issues, and I don't know where the problem lies. It seems to be a problem just with Blacklight, and there's a number of other people having the problem. So I would very, very strongly suspect that it's just Perfect World being cheap
On the server
with the
side.
servers, as always, because
Yeah.
it's just a money-making machine to them. So. But
Mr. Cynical, right here.
It really is. Come on, if you played any of Perfect World's, any of Perfect World's stuff.
Yeah,
it's all
true. I have played about
Very expensive.
5 of their games.
Yeah.
They're all
I'm
kind
not
of
a
the same.
Perfect World fan. I'm not a Perfect World fan. At some point, they will do something that impresses me. Sadly, they're one of those companies that I put them in the same kind of pile as I put NCSoft.
Which is unfortunate
NCSoft aren't quite as bad, but they are very, very quickly catching up.
because
My
They're making up for
issue-
lost time.
Yeah. Yeah.
what with
The-
City of Heroes incident.
They burned that. They totally and utterly drove that into the ground, making it free to play.
All I will say is, I want my auto assault. I don't need to say anything else on the matter.
Wasted
Just, I want
potential, man.
I want my 18-wheeler that I can do wheelies in
Yeah, seriously.
while shooting rockets and machine guns.
They took the one thing that is generally the dullest, most boring part of any MMO and rapidly becoming most games in general, is travelling. The travel time sink that I rant about all the damn time. They took the travel time sink and made it hilarious fun. What's that? You're driving over dunes in some little buggy, or on a custom motorbike, or in a giant 18-wheeler, or a giant multi-track vehicle doing 120 kph, running people over, hitting them with giant machine guns, or rocket launchers, or flamethrowers, or you name it.
That 18-wheeler that I used to drive around in, that big rig,
Yeah.
I painted the obnoxious Godzilla colors that you could get up to max speed, which was, what was it, 150?
Something.
Is that it? Because couldn't
No,
the
it was
bikes go like
it was
155?
No, it was like 100 and, it was like 130 or
125?
something that they tried
Yeah,
to do.
125.
It was fast.
If you got the rig up to maximum speed,
Forget about turning, would God help anything you hit.
which it was nigh on impossible to get that thing to maximum speed. But if you could, and I could, if you could, you needed to watch out for even little tiny stones in the way. Because if you hit anything, the amount of times that I would lined up perfectly to hit someone,
Faster tires
and
with the low profile ones for that.
yeah. Just before I got to the car that I was about to plow into the side of and wreck, I'd suddenly hit something and flip and go spinning over the top of them sideways.
Yeah, they just feel
It's
like,
just
what
like,
the...
hello, I'm going.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, but
It
I
was
missed
brilliant
that
fun,
game.
because like I said, they took the most dull thing and turned it into hilarious fun, because the two of you have got to run to meet this other guy and help him with a mission. Brilliant. So the pair of you race the way there, and it's entertaining and fun because you're taking slightly different routes. It adds a whole other thing to the game. It was brilliant, but
Hey,
NCSoft buried it.
Hey Xander, how many people do we know that can make games?
Not enough yet. Not enough
I
yet.
think that we should kickstart a
An auto-assault redo.
Carmageddon-esque MMO, and just do it essentially like a space style ones that you get, like Elite and Star Citizen. Congratulations to those guys, by the way, and all that kind of stuff. Just make a very huge, massive, open, tons of customization, trading, black markets, all this stuff, and just make it so that you can't really get out of your cars.
Yeah.
Or
your
your
cars,
trucks
your
or
main
your bikes or
avatar.
anything.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Only in town were you ever a person.
Yeah, and just
It's
literally
safe place.
just do it that way. Just do it that way. Just
Like,
make-
it was
I
basically a
guarantee
Mad
if you did
Max
that as
style
Kickstarter,
car
yeah.
MMO.
Yeah, if you did that as a Kickstarter, people would pay for that.
Yeah.
If you were to essentially make Elite, but post APOC,
In cars. rather than
Carmageddon.
In space.
how many people would pay for that? And have a beautiful crafting system as well, just for me.
That was the thing. Auto Assault was planned to have these. That was one of my biggest issues with NCSoft burying it like they did.
The
The
crafting,
crafting system was planned to be immense. RNG based, so you get a slight variation on the end product every time. And you could craft recipes, so you could make a blueprint, essentially like Eve's. But you had variation of the quality of the input ingredients. So you making a gun, I don't know, bog standard machine gun, you need X, Y, Z and a barrel. There was going to be like 7 different qualities of barrel that you could build them up to. And obviously the better, if you use the best quality ingredients, even a low quality gun can be really, really good if you've used the best quality ingredients. And all of that got ripped out and dumbed down and simplified because they didn't have time to finish the system and get it working properly. So all of that was gutted and ripped out.
So was the entire game, though.
Yeah. It was just like, no, okay, we don't have near enough money to get this game up to a finished standard, so we'll just push it out and let it burn itself out slowly.
No. My view for this, and this is a serious thing now. I've actually awoken something in my head. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna like write this up. But I would love to make the following game, or kickstart the following game, so that it can be made, which is a post-APOC car game like that. Bikes, cars, trucks, all kinds of
Land
vehicles.
vehicles. That was the thing.
Tanks.
You couldn't get any air vehicles.
You could get speeders, essentially land speeder-esque sort of things like hovercrafts and that kind of stuff in mine. That's what you could get. Or ours.
Okay.
And you'd have rep with factions, so you could work up and unlock certain stuff.
Yeah.
You would have factions that are at war that you could only pick one to side with out of
Mutually
the two of them.
exclusive factions.
Yep. So they were exclusive to give you some sort of shared. Like that would cause a huge complaint from people, but tough.
Yeah.
You pick one.
Suck it
'cause that's
up.
your character, and that's customization for your character. You can
Something
make it
I'd
the
be
way you
very,
want
very,
to.
very keen on, and I'm always, and this always kind of tends to split a player base as well, mind. It's another one of those, ooh, kind of things, is I would want to have, you can have one character, and I mean one character. No
Yeah.
multi-boxing, no nothing. We will do everything within our power as devs to ensure you have one character, and one character only.
No, I'd let them create a few characters, but I'd have them as a family. All your characters are linked in certain ways, so you'd have shared stuff across some of them, but not the faction thing. But you can.
Your reputation should be important in a game
Yes.
like this. That you can't
Exactly.
just
All
create
your
an alt
characters-
to be a troll or
No,
be a knobhead.
all of your
and nobody can trace
characters
it.
would essentially share the same surname, and that's your name that's seen. And then you can customize them, like you can have a brother and a sister, you make different characters, etc. But you would have this game that has, so it would have rep, it would have factions, it would have mutually exclusive factions, it would have world PvP and PvE in the same areas. This is why PvP games don't work.
Yes.
For
Well,
anyone that's
why
listening.
SWTOR's PvP was crap, because they intentionally segregated you.
Yeah, so it, like big risk reward. PvE stuff will be in PvP, and if you die, we would make it so that you drop stuff when you die. So there is that risk if you can go up and bounty hunting.
Yeah.
If a car has to be towed, then you essentially drop all the weight because they're towing you back in an apocalypse. In a wasteland, they're not gonna.
Yeah, you lose
do
the
that.
gear you have equipped. But since it's a craft, the whole thing is it's heavily crafting
Yeah,
oriented,
you
you
can
should
remake it back.
have a guy in your group to be able to make you another set.
And
Okay.
also have the big heavy crafting system that is beautiful. And then you could even have it so that you could buy forts and you could have your own player-run areas.
Yes.
Your own junkyard.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you
essentially.
can have junkyards and scrapyards. And no, we'd set it up so that you could have all different manners. You wouldn't just have a city. You wouldn't just have the ability to set up an outpost. You could set up a scrapyard or a junkyard.
I'm wondering
or
how well
an
if it would be
outpost.
possible to get player-run towing services operational in there. So you're not
Yeah.
necessarily towed by an NPC. You know what was told it was INC. They were the only people that had flight
No,
capability.
you
and
would
they'd
get
come pick you
towed.
up.
You would get towed by the player that has the closest outpost to that area of a junkyard variety, and it would give you an option. Here you go. Even better, it would give you an option because this is fantastic
Yeah.
to be exploited and also used to your advantage. Because if any player
You
can
get to
exploit something
choose when
like
you're
this, so
destroyed.
can
You
you.
choose who to send
Yes.
a distress
No.
call to, and you might already have an insurance contract with a big
Yeah.
company, but they may be
And-
further away, so it'll take longer to come and pick you up.
No,
Or you can
you-
make a
you
deal
have-
with the local guy.
You have 4 options. 4 options. You will get the 3 closest to you that will charge you different amounts that the player can set. And the 4th option is to abandon your vehicle.
But then what? You're on foot?
No, you would then go back to your town and you can get a new vehicle out of your garage, in air quotes. Because everything's crafted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, this is literally the first time I'm mentioning this crap.
How would you get the player? How would you get the player back there? Mechanic wise,
Some sort of Borderlands 2-esque new you style distress safety teleportation.
Like an emergency
Like
teleport.
you have a chip.
or
You
a
have
collar.
to-
A
you-
collar.
you should
all,
put-
the, all,
Yeah.
the, all the clones essentially have collars on, and it relays the information somewhere. So you just kind of wake up.
You
in a new
you are
brain.
in distress. You are about to die. It essentially de-reses you and puts you back into a
Yeah, it
town
just pops
because
the collar, it kills
humanity.
the clone, and you wake up in a
Or-
new
yeah,
one, and
or it
that's
could do
how
that.
they ensure there's never 2 of you, because you only get a new one activated when the old collar explodes.
Yeah. And then you could also put into it, like, you can level your cars and your weapons and everything else so that you can get better proficiency with that, and you can also have your character skills so that you can
We need to
choose
sit
to
down
be more
and do some
proficient and
serious
stuff.
work on this, because I reckon we know enough people. We could probably get this
I know.
project
Like,
going.
I'm deadly serious on this. This is really weird that we're discussing this on STS of all places, but I'm gonna start working on that.
So now that we've discussed it on STS, like, Zynga are just going to make it.
To be fair,
gonna
if
say
any,
yes.
no, if any other company suddenly listens to this, which is a mile-long shot, and they're like, "Holy crap, this is a fantastic idea," either get in contact with us, or B, just make it, but don't let it suck.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally happy for someone to just take this idea if it doesn't suck,
Yeah.
because I don't care. I'd be able to play the game.
Yeah,
I know, right?
we want the game for the game's sake, to make a good game, because I strongly believe that if you put all that other crap, all the other marketing, I'm gonna swear, if you put all the marketing bullshit aside and just make a game for the game's sake, like the old school things were, for the sake of the craft, to make a good game that we would want to play
And people would
as
enjoy
gamers, it'll be successful because people will enjoy playing it, and people will buy it, and people will play it. You don't need all the marketing crap. So that's how Eve went, effectively. That's how Eve did
All
it.
I would.
how
Oh yeah,
Salem's
and that's
doing it.
something else.
Proof that
I
it
would. I would
works.
give it. I would give it that as well. If it was an MMO, which it obviously, if it's something of that scope, it would be.
Yeah.
If it was an MMO, you would have the ability, like Eve, you would have some sort of Plex-esque system where if you wanted to, you could fund this game through playing it.
Yeah, you'd have to
More
play.
MMOs
You'd
need
have
that
to
kind of
play.
thing.
Yeah, more. It would have to be very carefully done. This is why I only want essentially one account per person, and you can't multi-box or multi-account because it cuts out a lot of the grey areas of that kind of thing.
But no, so yeah, if anyone is listening and they're like, holy crap, this is a fantastic idea, either A, get in touch, or B, just make it. Just don't let it suck. Hell, we wouldn't sue you at all if you made that
Get
game.
in touch.
and it
To
didn't
be fair,
suck.
just give option A. Just get in touch. We'll gladly give all the ideas we can. We just want to play this game. We want to play a good game for a change, rather than something that the bean counters are in control of. That is one thing that.
Yeah.
That is one thing
to make
I will add to that and stress. If the bean counters are in charge, I will do everything in my power to stop you, because you're not making it for the right reasons.
Any game like that that would be made would have to be made on the following account basis, like money wise. You would my intention would be making a game like that. Okay, so this is how much it would cost to make. This is how much it costs for the staff we need. If the game makes more than that, and if the game is making a profit, then it's a success. Even if it's bringing in $5,000 over everyone's wages and everything else, after everything is said and done,
That's
if it's
a
bringing in
success.
$5,000
That's
revenue,
$5,000.
that's a success.
Yeah.
If it has 250 people playing that game, but it's still making a profit, that's a success. You don't need to set massive goals like, this game needs to break 100 mil or needs like 1 million subscribers. Fuck that.
It'll grow if it's a good game. It'll grow by itself. This is my point. You don't.
Yeah. But
I don't get the obviously short-term greed that's behind so many games, because they just think that if you just pump them out fast enough, we just have to go short-term and just create more of these little grey boxes.
but
Unfortunately, that seems to be the way a lot of people are going. People's attention spans for games are getting shorter. I mean, when was the last time you finished a single player game and were like, okay, let's do that again?
Because it gets very dull and
without waiting
repetitive
6
because
months.
they're grey boxes. And despite the
I don't
on
know,
the other side of the
there's-
coin, despite the fact that it disappoints me in so many ways, how long, how many hours, how much time and money and effort did I sink into Eve? And I'm still tempted to, despite the fact I know I don't like the damn game.
Cheers.
Because it's a
the thing
really
is-
good game.
the thing is about
In
like,
fairness.
and on the subject of how many single player games, blah 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 blah. Like, Hitman Absolution came out 2 days ago in the UK, and I will try and complete that. Dishonored came out not too long ago. That was, a fantastic single player game. The Walking Dead Telltale thing just brought out their final episode, and I'm super psyched to finally get to the end of that and see how many people I have finally killed at the end of it when it's all said and done. You've got Far Cry 3 coming out soon.
That'll
And
probably sink quite a
I'm
bit of time
looking
into
for that.
it,
So like
because
you,
I
you mentioned like
exploration
grey
bits.
block. You mentioned this grey blocks thing, but there are
There are the odd exceptions.
recently we've not only had good sequels, but we've had good, fresh ideas as well. So they are stepping away from this grey block idea, so I'm not going to let you have that one.
No, I wouldn't
Not
say
this
they're
time.
stepping away from. There are the odd exceptions. But on the whole, the general industry is shifting towards that lots and lots of grey boxes kind of feel, rather than...
The thing is, there's lots of
Crafting
smaller.
masterworks.
There's lots of smaller companies that are just spitting games out, but that's the same with everything. There's tons of companies that are spitting out movies, but they just don't get distributed. With things like Steam and the internet and GOG and Gamersgate and
the million and one other retailers.
any of the other ones that I forgot to mention, there's so many easy ways to get your game to the people. This is why it feels like a great lot thing. And I was right. NBA 2K13 executive producer Jay-Z.
Wow.
A key features on Steam, a Jay-Z production. This is one of the
Wow.
key goddamn features. A Jay-Z production produced by multi-platinum recording artist Jay-Z, who
Obviously
presided over the
know them
soundtrack. He was like, nah man, you gotta have it dunk. Them dunks. Yeah, but no, there was a period not too long ago where even the big games that were coming out were just essentially grey blocks.
Yeah.
But we're moving away from that,
We've
not
had- well,
necessarily
not-
quickly.
We've seen a little burst of good games, but it remains to be seen whether or not that's maintained or whether it's just a
It's
blip.
been happening. It's been happening for a little while though, so it's moving in that direction slowly, very very slowly. I'll give you that one, very
But
slowly.
at the same
But it's
time,
heading
for
in the-
example, I know you're going to grit your teeth and want to punch me in the back of the head for this, but for example,
Get ready, Serge.
the Call of Duty machine is still in full swing. How much profit did they announce from yet
500 million.
yet another shooter that isn't as innovative as they made out as they were selling it to be?
But they were trying to innovate.
Not hard enough for the amount of money that went into that, the amount of money they have at their disposal, and the amount of profit they have generated from the hype machine that they created around it. Yet another grey box that made,
no.
what was it? Some ungodly,
500
500 million. Are you kidding me? That's an obscene amount of money for yet another one.
Even there, like they messed up. There is some horrifyingly bad things wrong with that game. I'll admit that. I play it. I still play it quite regularly. There are some bad things wrong with that game. There are some fundamental issues wrong with that game that they just seem to have ignored in oversight. But at the same time, there are things in that game where they have basically tried to be different because they don't want to be that stale, this is essentially COD with new maps.
Not
This
hard
is
enough
an
considering the
expanded DLC.
budget.
No, but they're trying. You can say
Money
no,
can't
no,
give you
not,
new ideas.
you can say no, not given the amount of money that they had, but you can give them as much money as you want. They're still on the timer of, okay, we have a year to make this game, and they still were a case of, okay, like, you've got to be aware that with a franchise like COD, you know this as well as I do, change is a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
So you have to make small changes. With a franchise like COD, with how many people it's got, it's essentially their golden fucking goose. Like, they cannot risk messing that up, but they still want to try and innovate and change it, so they have to do the beats. Because if they ruin their golden goose...
What, they'd have to come up with a new idea? Good God, who'd think it?
Nah.
I rest my case.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to say anything
You're not
to
going
you
to
on
be able
this
to
one.
sway
That
me
you're
because
gonna...
I am 100% convinced
know.
I'm in the right with this, because they've made this is the
Oh,
God
I'm
knows
aware
how
of
many
this.
a sequel, and they've raked in God knows how many dollars from this franchise,
the
which is
thing is-
essentially the same idea over and over and over again with tiny changes.
But the thing is, they are actually making those changes. They could very easily sit back and say,
Yeah, they could
okay,
just
what new
not do
maps
it.
are we using this time?
Yeah. But they're willing to try. They're willing to make those changes, and that to me that gives me a little glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Not necessarily in regards to COD, but in regards to the whole thing. Even if people like the guys behind COD games are still trying to do this, that gives me a glimmer of hope.
What was it I said I was looking at? It was Blacklight of all things. To be perfectly honest, Blacklight is far more innovative than any of the Call of Duty
When
games.
you can actually play it.
Yeah.
When you can get on the server.
That's the thing. If it wasn't for the publisher, Perfect World, Zombie have, whichever you want to, a great game on their hands. It is innovative in a number of ways.
I'd say have.
But the thing is, with a new game like that isn't following on from a
So-
series, you have the freedom to basically go, okay.
This is my point.
here's
Why
some-
haven't those innovative ideas come from this large company that's making $500 million from their last title to create these new ideas, to create a new game? Why rely on a fucking franchise? You're making massive amounts of money. Do something with it. Oh no, we're just gonna, sit on it.
I can't say anything about
Or
Activision on that one.
shareholders, or whatever it is that huge companies do with these. That's what makes me mind boggle. What the f do you do with that kind of profit?
They
If you're
drop
not
it into
producing any new
a
good
giant
games-
swimming pool so that Bobby Kotick can then just jump into it and swim
If you-
around like Scrooge McDuck.
If you're making this much money, what the f are you doing with it? Because you're not producing any new innovative content. But a small
done?
studio
No, you're
like
still going.
Zombie.
This bike keeps on pedaling.
Okay, are you done now?
Yeah, just because
You want yourself
I'm
out? Should we give you a binky and a blanket?
Okay,
just
well,
at a loss.
to
I
kind of-
really am. What do they do
To
with
say
it?
something
EA,
good.
I'm going
involving
to say now.
Activision.
I can't speak on behalf of like the Activision side of things because I don't know. But EA put out their franchises, and EA put out their franchises so they can make the fancy games. That they can take the risks because those franchises keep bringing in the money so that they can then put the investment into. Otherwise, you end up with issues like a company going horribly bankrupt because their fantastic new IP didn't work.
Hint, hint.
But with Activision, they don't do new fancy ideas.
I'm just looking forward to Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like I brought up a list of games that Activision themselves have put out that aren't sequels, and there's some decent titles in there, but yeah, there's not a huge amount. But you do occasionally get some good games coming out. I mean, look at Transformers.
You typed something without breaking our ears.
I didn't even hear it.
Yeah.
He did it very slowly over
A
time.
software mute button.
You muted yourself. I see.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
It's a software button as well, so you didn't even get the thunk of me
Those
hitting the
not
mic.
aware,
Nice.
Calaric and his mechanical keyboard.
the mechanical spider overlord.
It
Panic
sounds like a
typing.
first generation machine gun being operated.
Anyone that
Dumping
watches
into
anything
the-
I stream will probably be
bang,
subjected
bang,
to it
bang,
at
bang,
some
bang, bang,
point.
bang, 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 bang.
But the new Deadpool game, or the Deadpool game. Oh.
So good.
And I love the people regarding that, just quickly on a tangent. I love the people that are like, oh, it should be a sandbox game. We need a Deadpool sandbox game.
No.
That'd be amazing.
No.
No. No.
No.
No. No, 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 no,
Sandbox is a horrible buzzword.
no. Not only is sandbox a horrible buzzword, but do you understand how much you would have to dilute Deadpool to actually get it to work in a sandbox environment? Give me something
Yeah.
linear. I don't care, because that way I get true, full-on, unedited, unfiltered
Give me something like
Deadpool.
Bayonetta, but with Deadpool.
Oh god, yes.
Like what we saw at Gamescom, unfortunately we weren't allowed to record or anything. It was amazing. I'm going to be a dirty cock tease. It was, it was glorious.
I only had to watch the
But-
trailer to figure that out.
It was glorious for the clip that they showed us that was 15 minutes long. My mind was blown way too many times during it. But one of the best moments I can think of was anytime Deadpool used a bomb, he would actually make the beep boop noises as he was touching the keypad. And one of them, he was trying to get through this panic room door, and the guy was going on about how thick the door was and stuff, and Deadpool was stood outside, and he was talking to the other voices in his head, and he was like, let's see, 2 pounds of C4, carry the 5 plus the 7, and then all of a sudden he randomly just goes, fuck math, and just covers the entire door in C4, the entire thing, and then detonates it. And I was like, yeah, that's Deadpool right there, yelling out fuck math and blowing up a door.
You couldn't do that in a sandbox environment at all.
No, because you would need so many different things.
You need so much voice acting.
Immense quantities of content to make it actually work properly.
Yeah. This way, like, in the 15 minutes of watching...
To make it actually realistically achievable, it would have to be a linear story.
Yeah, in the 15 minutes of watching, there were more pop culture references and fourth wall breaking moments than I could even handle.
Yeah, it's like, make a game as linear as you want. I don't care. If I'm grinning ear to ear the entire way through, I don't care. I will enjoy it.
Yep. No, nothing is more awesome than, I'm not sure if it will be in the main game or if it was just for the demo that they were showing us, but Deadpool on the menu screen started talking and like started knocking on the glass, and when you selected an option, all of a sudden the Terminator music started and he pushed the elevator button, and as he went down he put his thumb up. there was an elevator in the game as well where your mission objective was just to sit back and enjoy, and it was just Deadpool singing for like a minute while the elevator was taking its ride.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
It was incredible.
Oh man, you're making me want to play this now.
I know. It
You
was,
have to pick up a controller for that because it's only on consoles.
It was
All right.
fantastic, and I really can't wait to see more of that game. It was brilliant. If they mess it up, I'm going to spit venom. But if they manage to do anything, like they were trying to do it as close to the comic book as possible. They were like, we've read the comics. We love Deadpool. We want to make a Deadpool game. So they were like, what better way to do it than have Deadpool make his own video game? That works.
There we go.
I just want to be able to smack someone with the health bar. Once I can do that, I'm happy.
You know the scene that you have in the trailer and stuff, where like Deadpool sat down on the chair watching TV and things, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's at the beginning of the game, and he's watching a TV show called Jump the Shark, where a bunch of B-list celebrities try to jump a shark. And the first episode that they were like showing on the TV, in air quotes, was that the celebrities failed and got eaten by the shark.
Wow.
It was good.
Can we have that in reality? Because there are some B-list celebrities I'd want to be rid of.
Ladies and gentlemen, watch here now as Snooky tries to jump a shark.
Yay! The shark one.
I'm not going to be mean to Snooky. Too many people are already mean to Snooky. You leave the Snooky
I wonder
alone.
how somebody with that sheer level of stupidity made it past their
You
14th
leave-
birthday without doing
you
something so
leave
colossally
Snooky alone.
stupid. They removed themselves
So-
from
so-
a potential gene pool.
So we know what Kel's been playing, and we know what Serge has been playing. We'll get there eventually.
What, an
Rolling
hour?
on.
Yeah,
hour
we're an
now.
hour in. This is the longest. This is the longest STS.
Yeah, we should.
Ever.
Yeah, we should
We
probably
should
start
probably be
the
wrapping
channel
up soon.
episode.
But Sandra, is there anything you want to mention that you've been playing?
what did
You were
I-
trying out, and the video in the background is
It's the new
Talk
Borderlands
DLC.
DLC. Yeah, it's a lot of enclosed fighting so far. A lot of go here, kill all of these people, which is essentially boils down to what's fun in Borderlands, so I can't complain too much.
I've seen a lot of posts on Reddit saying that this DLC is much better than the last one.
Yeah, it's a lot more...
So I'm looking forward to playing it.
What's the word? Constant, really. It is just constant fighting so far.
It's a lot more explosive.
Yeah. It lives up to its name, to be fair.
Cool.
So yeah,
Cool.
it's good fun. I'm going to be playing some more. I'm looking forward to playing some more later on tonight.
Awesome. So you were mentioning that Blacklight is having issues. Is it still going to be Game of the Week?
I'm really unsure. Because I don't know if everybody's having issues or if it's just me or what. But I keep getting random disconnects. All sorts of
You can
weird...
always try PlanetSide.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of downloading it as we speak. To give it a whirl.
Well, now would be the time dropping you in the hot seat.
Yeah, I know.
Light shining down on you. Do, 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 do. Now would be the time to pick which one it is.
Yeah.
So do you want to make a call on that?
Go, quick.
We-
No pressure.
To be
Planet
fair,
Side's new and shiny. People are going to be playing it anyway.
yeah, I
Why
think
not?
we should probably make it Planet Side because I haven't even played it. To be fair, it has
So
just
it's
come
Planet
out.
Side then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Since
Awesome.
Perfect World are cheap enough to not maintain their service properly.
So
Awesome.
what time will it be and on what
It'll
day?
be Saturday, 8 p.m. GMT.
Same time always.
Yeah,
Either
Same
or-
bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, same back place.
So, do we have anything else that we want to rant about?
Oh, we've had a good cathartic ranting session, and created
It was.
ourselves a side project that. Since we've,
well, well, yeah,
we've
like-
talked about in a video, you know, and something people are going to be watching and going, that's a really good idea. Yeah, I'd play that.
Yeah.
Where are you with that
The-
game idea? Oh, son of a-
There is going to be at least one person sat watching the screen, watching the video, or listening to it more precisely, because you know the YouTube video isn't anything interesting. Watching Xander die,
Yeah.
there will be sat there, and at whatever time it was, like 30 minutes or something, when we start that rant, they're just going to literally be like, "Take my money," throwing it at the screen. There's going to be
Take
that
my
one guy.
money!
You don't even need to go to viewers for that. I'm here throwing throwing euro at the screen. I know it's worthless to you, but still.
It's worthless anyway. What are you
I would
talking
love
about?
to. I would love to see it. I would love to actually. I'm gonna definitely
Yeah.
start writing some ideas up on that.
Yeah.
So are we done? Do we want to talk news very quickly? Was there anything newsworthy to mention this week? I think Serge mentioned something.
No, aside from the fact that Planet Side 2 was released, which, well, is kind of a given considering we're playing it at the weekend, and also
There's a bunch of other stuff come out, but it's all
Yeah.
kind of...
Little
I can't remember now.
Inferno by the Tomorrow Corporation has also been released. I'd very much like to play that.
The GUI guys.
Yeah, those are the people that made World of Goo.
I have that on my phone. It's addictive.
It's a very good game. I'm
Number of times I've
really
fallen
looking forward
asleep
to
trying to build a bridge of goo balls.
really looking forward to getting my hands on it.
I'll tell you something interesting that I did read. I read this earlier today. Okay, so I'll give you guys a pop quiz.
Uh-oh.
I'm never
So-
played these.
I'm going to throw you sideways into a parallel universe.
Okay.
There, you're now in a parallel universe. All of you are living in your houses with your wives. They can look whatever you want. They're not important. They can be robots. And your two adopted kids called Szechuan and Cookie.
Okay, get to the point.
Okay.
Right? So you have Szechuan and Cookie, and let's say they're about the age of 7 or 8 years old, and it's coming up to Christmas.
Oh, right, yeah, I know where this is going. Man, that's a long ways
Yeah.
about, but okay.
So we're in this parallel universe, and you have your two kids, and they're 7 to 8, and they're screaming at you for Christmas gifts. What do you think they're going to be yelling for?
Well, I can't answer this because I know the answer.
So let's go to the other two. Do you think they'll be yelling for a Wii U?
Probably.
Yeah.
There's no other consoles coming out this Christmas.
The number one product in the US between the ages of 6 and 12, most desired for Christmas at the moment, is actually an iPad.
But why?
Over a Wii
I don't get
U.
Why? For what purpose?
Because, and I'm going to get rather ghetto gangster here, because, fine gentlemen, Angry Birds is the shit. Wiki fresh.
£400 indie game.
I need a brand new $800 iPad with a Retina screen so that I can flick my little birds across the screen in glorious HD.
Damn
I mean,
straight.
don't get me wrong. There are some good games out there for like the iPad and what have you, but
Carmageddon.
what? Butterfinger. But yeah, an iPad for a kid that age.
Kid that age shouldn't
No.
realistically be playing Carmageddon. So,
They can play Butterfinger.
Or Angry Birds.
There are
Think
a
of how
few-
they'll grow up.
but it's not. I mean, it's a potentially growing games platform. I'll give it that. It is probably one of the fastest growing at the moment. Games platforms. There's a lot of. It's easy to get games put
Yeah.
together on. A lot of indie devs have started there, like Lady Shotgun Games. Credit to them. But it for 6 to 10-year-olds, and
I'd rather stay the 6 to 10 year old
say
down with.
it's an expensive, very fragile thing to be giving a kid of that age. How the hell can you
give them
expect
like
that to
a
last more than
DS.
4 weeks in a kid's hands?
DS or a Vita is perfect for
I'll
them.
give you the top 7.
Okay.
So, number 1, iPad. Number 2, Wii U. Number 3, iPod Touch.
What?
Okay.
Number 4, iPad Mini.
What?
Advertising, man. Advertising. And you see a number of
Number
people in the
5, number 5, the iPhone.
Calm
Number
down.
6, a computer.
computer.
Good old computer,
Computer.
being up in there. A
In
computer.
inverted
okay
commas.
with that.
Goddamn parents, if you
Oh, I
don't
wish
get
I-
your kids a 386 for
I wish I
Christmas,
could
they are going to be
bludgeon people
really
with their
pissed.
own bloody torn off limbs over TCP/IP.
And number 7 is Connect.
Better
It's an
random
interesting
one to
list.
have in there.
Number 8 is any tablet other than iPad. Number 9 is a 3DS, and number 10 is a DS. Number 11 and 12 would be a PS3 and an Xbox 360, respectively.
That's surprising.
So Apple have got a massive marketing drive going on.
Yeah.
It's the Apple machine.
sheeple.
But let's not. Let's
don't start me
I'm
off.
Gonna, yeah.
I'm
yeah.
gonna stop
Slap
now.
him if he starts on
No,
that
you
one.
don't have to.
We'll halt him because we'll be here another
Yeah.
hour.
Change the subject. Change the subject now.
So this has now become the longest STS in history, and will not actually be the longest for much longer.
Roll out
as
the
we're
party
moving
moving.
over to podcast system and stuff.
Yeah.
At some point, but that's not in the next week or so. So don't worry too much. So, do you guys have any final words, Kel?
Yes, My Little Pony on Android is awesome.
If you were
Good to
sat
know.
anywhere near me,
Serge.
I'd bludgeon you and all.
Nope, nothing to add. Not even a random comment.
Fallen Enchantress is the shit. Wiki fresh.
What is it with you? God damn it!
It's Jay-Z, man. It's Jay-Z.
Cease and desist.
I am channeling the Jay-Z. I'm gonna go play some NBA 2K13 after this. I'm gonna go touch down some slam
Crunch.
dunks.
You remember what that's for, and you'll remember exactly what it's for.
Wow. Okay, Serge, quick question. Have you played Warlock, Master of the Arcane?
Wasn't that the one beforehand?
Yes.
No. No. I was interested.
Okay, never mind. I was hoping for a quick comparison between the two, like which is better. but-
Elemental is far better.
Okay.
That wasn't hard.
And as this video draws to an end, the Steam Autumn Sale has just
Oh
begun.
god.
Oh god, my
Missed
wallet.
it.
Do we want to
Sale
mention them
broken.
quickly before we
Yeah,
end?
might as well.
Seems appropriate. Yeah. So I can't see what the offers are. I can see what the games are at the moment. XCOM is apparently in today's deals. Pick it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Walking Dead is in today's deals as well. So is Terraria, Magic, and Jewels of Planeswalkers 2013. Age of Empires 3 Complete, which is a massive shyster. I'm sorry, Age of Empires 3 may be an okay game in some people's opinions, but it came on Steam at £30.
How is it still
Wow.
that price? I picked
Yeah.
this up and it was 50 cent on the Microsoft Store at one
Now
point.
who's talking
and
about
this was
rappers?
2 years ago.
50 cent you.
Did it come with 9 bullet holes in it?
Oh, there we go. The deal's just updated. 33% off XCOM.
How much?
Not bad. 33%.
How much?
Shut up.
Oh.
It's good to have it back.
Darksiders 2 is 66% off at £11 if you're after a fantastic Zelda-esque game. All of the DLC is reduced as well, which makes it an even more awesome deal.
Yes.
Age of Empires 3 is 75% off. That's £7. I'm going to say on that one. Magic is £3, which is fantastic, but it's kind of buggy still, so
Your call on that one.
your experience may vary
Yeah.
in that one. XCOM
And if you play Surge, he'll end up with 200 life.
XCOM is £20. It's 33% off. That's a pretty goddamn
That's a
good
pretty
deal
good
for
deal,
XCOM
mate.
because it's awesome, but I would have liked to see it cheaper. Just because I really don't like it when deals drop things still above £20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My main problem with XCOM is that no mod support
Yet.
yet.
Yes.
Walking Dead for £10. Pick this up.
I've not played them.
Yes.
I really haven't.
Yeah. Walking. You should. They're fantastic games. It's £10 for
What are they,
for
like
all
point and
5, and
clicky
it's
or action?
brilliant. Yeah, they're essentially point and click games where they've replaced the puzzles to some degree with morality choices.
Okay, and they kind of changed the story, so it's
So yeah, you may end up having a wonderful playthrough where everything goes happy and sunshine, and then you may have another playthrough where you wake up from that dream and realize that the world has gone entirely to shit.
Nice.
There are Flash sales as well. Amazing Spider-Man is on Flash. Limbo is on Flash, which is brilliant.
Get Limbo.
Yes. But some good deals. Some good deals today. Anyway, so Luke, do you have anything to say before we wrap this up?
now I'm done. I think we should, I'm worried I might just set myself off on another rant, so we should probably get it done.
We'll just see you all at 8 PM. Play Planet Side.
Yeah, I'm going to finish
On
downloading
the
it,
glorious
patched
Saturday.
and all the rest of it.
What date is that? Saturday. Saturday the 24th of
There we
November
go.
at 8 PM GMT.
Get everybody to get
Yeah.
a playing some
Yeah.
Planet Side.
So, from myself, the glorious Kel, who is now returned home to the promised land of glory, to Ranty McAngry Pants over there, and of course Surge.
Just Surge.
If you have any, yeah, just Surge. One word, like
Madonna.
Madonna. There's a reference for you. If you have any questions or queries or comments, leave them, Kel.
Below.
There you go. And from myself, Kel, Fluke, Angry McPants, and Surge, we will catch you for next video.
In a while.
Stay awesome.
Good night.